Okay, good morning, everyone. Before anything else, I would like to introduce myself first. By the way, my name is Jessie Mojica, and I will be discussing the unfair labor practice of employers. So, this is Article 259 and 248. This is unfair labor practices of employers. It shall be unlawful for an employer to commit of any following unfair labor practices. So, na siya ay 5 case, which is ang first is to interfere with restrain or coerce employees in the exercise of their rights to self-organization. Second, to require as a condition of employment that a person or an employee shall not join a labor organization or shall withdraw from one which he belongs. Third is to contract out services or function being performed by union member when such will interfere with restrain or coerce employees in the exercise of their rights to self-organization. Fourth is to initiate and dominate, assist, or otherwise interfere with the formation of administration of any labor organization, including the giving of financial or other support to its organizer supporter. Fifth is to discriminate in regard to wages, hours of work, and other terms and conditions of employment in order to encourage or discourage membership of any labor organization. So first is interfere with, restrain, or coerce employees in the exercise of the right to self-organization. So in this action, it should be taken by employers, no, that hinder or intimidate employees from forming or joining or assisting labor unions. This can include threats, unfair or disciplinary action or surveillance, or any behavior aimed to discourage union activities. Such as action are typically prohibited under labor laws, such as National Labor Relations Act in the United States, which aims to protect employees' rights to organize and engage in collective bargaining. Second is to require as condition of employment that a person or employee shall not join a labor organization or shall withdraw from one which he belongs. So this practice is illegal under many labor laws, such as the National Labor Relations Act or NLRA in the United States. So these conditions violate employees' rights to freely associate and engage in union activities, and they undermine the principles of collective bargaining and labor organization. Third is to contract out services or functions being performed by union members when such will interfere with or restrain or coerce our employees in the exercise of the right to self-organization. So in this explanation or in this taken, it should be involve outsourcing. Involve outsourcing jobs to non-union workers to undermine the union influence. So this practice can weaken the union, um, reduce the bargaining power, and create a chilling effect on union activities such as action or often seen or unfair labor practices and prohibited under the laws like the National Labor Relation in the United States, which protects employees' rights to organize and engage in collective bargaining. So that's the number two. However, the number three is to contract mm, no, number four is to uh, initiate and dominate, assist, or otherwise interfere with the formation of administration of any labor organization, including the giving of financial or other support to it or its organizer or supporter. So in this case, or in this taken, it refers to the action typically regulated by labor laws, aiming to maintain the autonomy and integrity of labor organization. It encompasses initiating, denominating, assisting, or interfering in the affirmation or administration of labor unions. So this includes providing the financial or other types of support to this organization or their supporters. So, ang purpose ani niya is to protect the rights of workers to organize and bargain collective without undue influence or control from employers to external entities. Last one is to discriminate in regard to wages, hours of work, and other terms and conditions of employment in order to encourage or discourage membership of any labor organization. So this explanation, it should be describe a prohibited practice under labor laws, which is to discriminate against employees in terms of wages, hours, or other employment condition. To influence their membership in a labor organization, this means employers cannot reward or penalize employees based on their involvement with membership or in a union. As such, action undermine workers' right to freely associate and organize. um, um, Labor laws such as the National Labor Relationship in the United States. So it should be protect employees from such discrimination to ensure fair treatment and support the integrity of the collective bargaining to process. So that's the explanation of the number 5. Next is comment and cases. So comment and cases na siya mga case pod no natay condition precedent to ULP charge. ULP charge meaning ani is unfair labor practice. So first is condition precedent to ULP charge is before an employee daw may be considered aggrieved by an alleged unfair labor practice. So kini siya ang condition ani niya is to complain or to make a compliant to process follows legal protocols. So kini si condition precedent unfair labor practices naani siya mga cases pod. First, ang cases ani is first is the filing time frame, second is jurisdiction, third is standing, fourth is specificity, and next, exhaustion or internal remedies, and last is good faith. So first is the filing time free is kung ano siya kanang must be filed within a specific period. After the alleged unfair labor practice occurred, for example, one of the example ani is the under national labor relation. The charge must be filed within 6 months. Ano yung example? Second is jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is against ni siya which charge is filed must fall within the jurisdiction of the relevant labor board or authority. For instance, the National Labor Relations Board handles most private sector mo na siya in the US. Standing, the individual or organization filing charge must have standing, meaning they must be directly affected by the aligned unfair labor practice. Specification, the charge must clearly describe the alleged unfair labor practices, providing sufficient details to enable the labor board to investigate the claim. Second to the last is the exhaustion of internal remedies. These cases known as internal grievance, meaning procedures provide the collective bargaining agreement may need to be exhausted before filing the ULP charge. Last one is good faith. So this is the common and pinaka-importante sa tanan. Good faith in the charge must be filed in a good faith and not for frivolous or malicious reason. So in these cases, kini siya ng mga case, this condition is ensured to the charge is considered legitimate and the process appropriately by the labor authorities. 3 is illustrative instances of valid experience of management rights. In this, the law on, ang gingon diri is the law on, and fair labor practice is not intended to deprive the employer of his fundamental right to prescribe and enforce such rules as he honestly believes to be necessary to the proper, productive, and profitability operation of his business. So, kini si number 3, balik ta sa comment and cases. Kana. Comment and cases, napaday wala na ko na-discuss si ILO Convention number 98. Si ILO Convention number 98, I don't know kung sa pagkuan ni ILO Convention or ILO Convention number 98. So kini siya without using the term unfair labor practice in Convention number 98. The International Labor Organization frowns upon the anti-union discrimination and interference. So ang explanation ani niya is ni ILO Convention is also known ni siya as a right of organized and collective bargaining convention. One pa din siya kanang is an international labor standard established by the International Labor Organization. It was adopted by 1949. And it's one of the fundamental convention of the ILO which member states are encouraged to ratify and implement. So that's a concept. ILO Convention. Number 3, kini na, dali na ta. So number 3 is illustrative instances of valid exercise of management rights. So, ako na siya nabasa ganina, no? Kini si number 3, the illustrative instances of valid exercise of management right. Ang context niya is, kuan ni siya kanang, the context ani is to labor relation and unfair labor practices. The valid exercise of management rights refers to action by employers that are considered lawful and within the prerogative to manage their business operation. So naa siya mga illustrative case pod. So no. So ang kuan ani ang one ang importante po niya. It is important because while employers have the rights, they must exercise them in compliance. And without engaging the discrimination practices or relation against employees or exercise the right under the labor laws, understanding and respecting these boundaries help and maintain fair and productive labor relationship within organization. So, mao na siya. So, kini pod si illustrative instances of valid exercise of management rights. Napod siya kanang case 6 ka buok, personal movement, acceptance of master resignation, grant of profit sharing benefits to non-union members, forced vacation leave, assurance of rules or policy, then taking action against slowdown. So, mo na iya mga case po. The last one is determination of validity. Kini is determination of validity, naga-determine siya of validity of an employer. At it involved an appraisal of his motives, in these cases of measure of reliance on the administrative agency. Ano siya? Napaday 50 IC first ULP entrance article 259. So in summarized form, the 9 ULP acts of an employers under article 259 are so mao ni siya. Enter French, yellow dog or condition, contracting out, company unionism, discrimination for against union membership, discrimination because of testimony, violation of duty to bargain, paid negotiation or violation of CBA. So, muna iyahang mga 9 ULP acts of an employer under the Article 259. So that's all, everyone. That's my report. And thank you very much. Then proceed to the next reporter. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.